Oh shit, I was speaking and the microphone was switched off, which is great. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the shop. If you have any problem hearing me, I kind of adjusted a little bit the microphone. So let me know if you hear it good or too loud or whatever it is. Anyway, welcome to the shop. We are finally back. We'll be doing this every Sunday. Today is Tuesday because I had some things to do. I couldn't come on Sunday. And we'll be following the season step by step every damn Sunday, which means that I will work every Saturday and Sunday before coming here, which is great. Welcome everyone in the chat. We have Eddie, Diogo, Kaio Kamada, Fantasia, Lisbeth, Sasha, Kylie Wilson, Velho from the fracking comments. And Corinne, welcome everyone. I was saying I was a little bit late for this stream because I wanted to prepare an actual intro for the show, an actual proper intro for the show. So let's play it. Let's see how it is.
She looks metallic. Metallic, metallic, metallic.
Though I can't quite recall of the night sensation.
Okay, if we don't get sued over this intro, that's kind of a miracle. Okay, let's begin. Let's begin with what? Wait a moment, I'm still waking up because I had to sleep a couple hours because otherwise I would have never made it at this time. Let's begin with addressing the elephant in the room. First thing. And before we do that, if you want to ask me something live, because I'm not really following the chat, I am trying, I swear, I'm doing my best, but I'm still having problem in multitasking. So if you want to ask something right at the moment, just do add top RPDR video so that the comment is highlighted. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. We published this video last week, and it was a complete catastrophe. It was absolutely canned by YouTube. Now, why did this happen? Well, maybe it's a bad video. I always consider that. Because you never know, maybe you really like something and then audiences really don't respond to it for some reason. And it's totally fair. Some videos are good, some videos are bad. But I think this one was really good, actually. And what I noticed, it's something that I noticed in July, is that YouTube is kind of taking it a little bit hard on our channel. I think one of the reasons is because we received a copyright strike that we couldn't fight back for. And immediately after that, the views on the channel, how can I say, the normal views on the channel dropped out like something by 90%. Then there has been changes to the algorithm. That is another thing. A lot of YouTubers are affected by this. But one of the biggest problem, it's something that I never considered. It could actually be my fault. Because every time we did the live streams for season 12, we did the live stream for All Stars 5. So it's basically like 25 videos. And I always left them on the channel. So YouTube was suggesting them. And a lot of people, you have to understand, a lot of people are not really interested in watching a 4 hours live stream. They just want a 15 minutes video. That's the time that they have. So they don't click on it. And when they don't click on it, YouTube remembers that. And so it starts like degrading your channel, downgrading your channel. Like it doesn't suggest your content that much anymore. And so it could actually be my fault. And I always ask myself, why do so many channels that I follow, why is it impossible to find their live streams, or they have an alternative channels with the live streams? And this is the reason. So I might have kind of destroyed the channel click-through rating on YouTube. And this is a huge problem, because it means that whenever we make any new video that is typical of the channel, you know, this very high work, intensive videos that take a ton of time to develop, that are basically what we are known for. And this video don't go because YouTube thinks, well, people are not interested in the content from this channel, at least not that many people. Because you have to remember, before this video, we published When Fans Go Too Far Part 2. And within a day, it had 100,000 views. Before that, we published Blame It on the Edit, and it had 100,000 views in a day. Midnight in the Library, same thing. And the evolution of Drag Race, same thing, and on and on and on, because that's what YouTube have known us for, you know. So this is a huge problem. This is a huge problem for the channel. So I have to ask your help on this, actually. If you can share the video without bombarding, don't spam, but if you can share this video anywhere you think there's somebody that might be interested, please share it, because otherwise it will basically get stuck. It will never go, people will never see it, they will never receive the suggestion, and all our work will be for nothing. And you have to understand, this video took a ton of work. This video is part 2, and we did part 1 2.5 years ago. And in part 1, we asked for the viewers if they noticed any other editing mistakes for compiling a part 2. So for the past 2.5 years, I went back to the video, checked the comments, made screenshots on the comments, then go back to every episode mentioned in the comments. And sometimes user would be really thorough. They would have a timestamp, but most of the time they would simply say, oh, in Untucked episode 11 season 6 this happened, and then you have to go through the episode. And once you find that yes, there is an editing mistake, then you need to put it on the list, you need to put it with the timestamp, you need to save the comment because you want to give them credits. These people are helping, so they deserve to get credit. And after you have done all of that, usually every 1 or 2 months, but in the very beginning it was like every week, then you have to sort out all the material that you have. You have to create a cohesive storyline for the video, a basic script, and then you have to gather everything else that you might need: picture, Photoshop, videos, music, sound effects. And after you have done all that, then I have to record the voiceover, and that takes time, a lot of time to me, because English is not even my first language. So that's about it's the best part of 10 hours to be you know, it's probably 15. Okay. And after you have done all that, then there is the editing. How much editing, you ask? Well, this much editing went in that video. Every little thing you see is either a part of a video, an audio, a picture, an overlay, a transition, something that has been done manually. Each and every one of this. And this took basically all my Sundays. 2-3 hours, sometimes 6, sometimes 1, but it took a ton of Sundays to do all this editing. And after you have done all of this, then you have to encode it at only half the quality. So it's about 4 or 5 hours to encode it. Once you have encoded it, you need to recheck it, you need to make correction, you need to judge the flow of the video, because maybe you think, yes, it's really good, but then you actually see the video and you think, okay, this video doesn't flow. Changes needs to be made. When we made the, how was it called? A Drag Race Rabbit Hole. That video was a catastrophe. After the first encoding, the video was not flowing at all. It was terrible. It was horrible. So it had to be redone by scratch. It's not the case for this video, but that's something that can happen. And after you have done that, then you need to do the final encoding, which basically takes a whole night, watch it again, and then finally publish it. and you think, yes, you published the video, your work is finished. No, it's not finished, because we will get a copyright strike on it. First a claim, and then if we fight it, we'll get a copyright strike. And you think, how many times does this happen? Well, it happened for top 10 unaired reads. It happens for When Fans Go Too Far. It happened for The Evolution of RuPaul's Drag Race, the 10 Lip Sync Commandment, The Editing Fails, the part 1 of this video. It happened for Blame It on the Edit. It happened for Midnight in the Library. It always happens. And when it happens, not only you don't gain any money on it, but if you want to fight it, you need to send illegal documents to YouTube with all of your personal data, basically saying, listen, either you sue me because you really think that I infringed the copyright and this is not fair use, or the video has to go back up in 2 weeks. So you have to understand that is not something that you do with a light heart. So you need to consult an expert to do that. So until they monetize the channel back in April, we always paid it from our pocket. So there's not only all the work that goes in it, there's also a cost to it. So you have to understand, if you have to go through all of this, at least you want that a ton of people will enjoy it. You want to make a little bit of revenue out of it. You want the video to perform well. And knowing that the video has the potential to perform well, but it's actually held down by the algorithm, it's not only it's heartbreaking, but it doesn't justify the amount of work that goes behind it. So if this situation continues, this kind of videos will probably not really be possible anymore. From a pure motivational perspective, there is no motivation to do them anymore. So with that said, sorry if it took it too long to explain all of this. With that said, if you are on any platform, any application that you think people might be interested in this video, please share it. And we'll see how we go from there. We'll see how we go from there day by day. Meanwhile, what I will do is to private the streams the moment they are finished, so that YouTube doesn't really have a chance to suggest them, and people don't really have a chance not to click on them because they're not interested in 4 hours of me speaking. That's the point. So if you could do this favor for us, that's the best. Another thing that I will do, I will be republishing the 10 Lip Sync Commandment and Midnight in the Library. That will also give me confirmation of what the algorithm is actually doing, but they will also help the channel regain a little bit of this click-through rate. The cost of it is that we will get copyright claims on them, and the channel will probably get demonetized. But you have to understand at this point in time, monetization is the least of my concern. My big concern is working hard to bring something and then not having people watching it. That's the biggest of my concern. Now, with that said, how long has it been? 13 minutes. With that said, let's move on to the real subject of the video. So, speculation. It's season 13, and we have 13 queens. Now, how do we do this? Let's try to find a way to try to break the code a little bit, okay? So I watched the Meet the Queens. I watched the how was it called, that video? Queens judging each other's. Was it that? And another video that was called Queens. They are on the RuPaul's Drag Race channel. How was it called? Queens imitating each other's. So I've watched this video and I can give you my impression on them, but what I want to really bring it to you is the math that goes even before watching all of this. So let's delve into that, because let's not forget for a minute that Drag Race is a brand owned by World of Wonder, and World of Wonder is for-profit corporation. So they want to make money. So they have a marketing department, and based on that, they make a ton of decisions on how the show actually takes its form. And you would be surprised the kind of research that goes behind it. Lucky for us, we can reverse engineer it and kind of starting to already get an idea based on only the face of these queens, their age, and I'm sorry to say it, but their ethnicity. So, our usual top 4 always as a young and talented queen, usually with a hero headed. Now I want you to think back in time for a moment, because this is something that didn't used to be there, but it kind of happened by chance in season 6 when Adore Delano came forward. So she already was famous. She did that competition show, how was it called? America's Got Talent? America's Got Talent? Is that? No, it was something else. The Voice? Well, it was a singing competition, so she already had some kind of fame. She was young, and she had kind of an appeal. She was a different kind of drag queen. So what happened is that for the first time, they found that young queen resonate with the audience. And as you notice, the audience in time has only been getting younger and younger. So we've been having in season 7 Violet, who was 21. In season 8 Naomi, 21. Season 9 was the notable exception, but go back again to season 10, Aquaria, 21. And season 11 Evie, 24, a little bit higher than usual, but still pretty young. And season 12 Gigi, 21. So only based on this pure statistic that it's market driven, because you have to understand, if the vast majority of your viewers are under 21, 23, 24, they are really young, they want someone that they can resonate with, and it's usually someone their own age. So based on that, let's take a look at the contestants' age, ordered by age. American Idol, Syria Jenkins, thank you. Thank you. Adore was an American Idol. So right out of the bat, you see that Gottmik is the only one who is between 21 and 24. Now, this is an interesting case. This is an interesting case for many different reasons, but I want you to think for a moment, going back on season 12, because there was this PR catastrophe that came with Gigi Good. So we followed the show, we followed her headed, how everything seemed to work on her favor. There was this hero headed that was done terribly. It was really terrible. It was done so bad. And it really looked like this is the queen that they wanted to crown. This is who they wanted to become the face of the brand. And it backfired terribly. There was this whole thing with Gigi made a mock of herself on social media, collaboration with Jeffree Stars, the whole I cannot breathe tweet, while there was VH1 starting the Alone Together campaign and sensitization to stay home, stay safe, and so on. And she was taking pictures with other people. At some point, there was a rumor that she was filming. Instead of filming in the house, she went to a studio for filming. It was a nightmare. It was an absolute PR nightmare. So when you look at it this way, and you're presented with one of the first contestant, Gottmik. She's the first trans man coming in the show. That is a huge opportunity. Don't forget that. It's a huge opportunity, because first you can score some nice woke points with the trans community, because you know You know RuPaul, you see the things that she said over time. There was this, when they banned the T word, they went on podcast joking about it, saying something like, oh, you cannot say T anymore. Now you are going to say granny. Hey, granny, get out of the car. And they went with the back. It was embarrassing, to say the least. And then there was this interview. Let me see if I can pull it up. There was this interview with RuPaul that it cracked me up. I read it again today because it was incredible. So, when asked whether he's bothered by the word tea, RuPaul responded by saying, no, I love the word tea. And then the interviewer noted that the trans community is offended by the term, to which RuPaul responded, and check out the response. No, it is not the transsexual community. These are fringe people who are looking for storylines to strengthen their identity as victims. So you have RuPaul, the high-ranking producer of a reality TV show that every year takes a couple of queen, probably typecast a couple of queen, completely trashes them to the point where they get death threats on social media, never puts on a fucking word saying, listen, this is a dramatized show. Don't take it so seriously. It's only for entertainment. Don't use it as an example to relate to this people. They never do something like this. And you have this person saying that the trans community is trying to create a storyline. And that, kids, that is called projection. You know, projection, that's it. That's what it is. So there's every reason to bring a queen like Gottmik to the top, not only because she is the young and talented queen that's always on the top, but she's trans. And I'm sorry to say it, I know how it sounds. I know perfectly how it sounds. But let's not forget, this is a business. And the business needs a good image. And can you imagine if they make Gottmik win? I mean, I don't know her. I have seen everything that I've seen about her is the videos that I told you before. But can you imagine the headlines around the world? First, crown trans man. And from the point of view of RuPaul, is the best kind of trans because he doesn't have tits. Because RuPaul has a huge problems with tits. Because if you have tits, you are cheating. I'm quoting RuPaul. It's not my opinion. I'm quoting. You are kind of cheating. So, yeah, I know how it sounds. I know how it sounds. So, let's keep it at that. Another reason, there was this video, the queen's impressions of each other. Yes, that's the video I wanted to talk to you about. Not only does Gottmik in the cover, talking about first impressions, by the way, but the video is 4 minutes long, and for 25% of the time, 1 minute, they only talk about Gottmik. That's the first thing that really caught my eye. So when it comes back to our speculation, right out of the bat, I can tell you that I would put all my money on Gottmik on the top 4, probably even the winner. Well, I'm pretty cynical, so surely the winner. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see the show. We'll have to see how they edited her out. But I can tell you that from a marketing perspective, you are a complete idiot if you cast a queen like this and then you don't bring her to the top, because that's a huge missed opportunity for a show that really needs a boost on image after that catastrophe that happened with Gigi Good and season 12. They absolutely need it. Not to mention All Stars 5. I mean, do you remember when they pumped Miss Cracker so much and basically the whole community responded with a huge middle finger because it was so transparent that, I mean, you can make an entertaining show without pushing so much. Don't push so much. People are not idiots. So, right out of the bat, I can tell you this is my bet for the top 4. I will put one of my 2 balls on this bet, and then we'll see what happens by the end of the seasons. Moving on. The second queen that's always in the top, and I'm sorry, I have to excuse myself again, but this is not. I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just going by statistics. The second queen that's always in the top is a queen of color. usually an African American queen who is never portrayed as a villain. And I think this is again done for marketing reasons, because let's face it, this show is done for the U.S. and a huge chunk of the U.S. populations are people of color, and they want to see themselves reflected on the show, and possibly not as a villain. And this is something that started really happening when they moved to VH1. And that, I think, because VH1 has a better marketing department than World of Wonder. World of Wonder is basically a dwarf in the entertainment industry. VH1 is the giant with its parent companies, the Viacom CBS Corporation. So they probably have a very good and efficient marketing department, because when they moved to VH1, there has always been a queen of color in the top 4, at least one that's not portrayed as a villain. So think about it. Who did we have in season 9? We had Peppermint. Shay had this kind of half shady edit at times, but not Peppermint. Peppermint was the queen that went in this category. In season 10 there was Asia O'Hara. In season 11 there was Akiria. We could make a case for Evie, but Evie had a little bit more of an underdog edit, which also implied that she had a little bit of fight, and so on. And in season 12 we had Jada. So this is a pure marketing thing, and this is something that always happens. It looks as if when they moved to VH1, VH1 basically told them, listen, you cannot always portray Queen of Colors as villains. You cannot do that. And if you do it, at least you have to counterbalance it in some way. You have to counterbalance it. Because looking back, this show is kind of a boner for portraying people of color as villains. There was Nina Bonina, the Vixen, Bibi, Silky, Latrice, Raja O'Hara, Britta, Widow. We could even make a case for Alexis, but it was so and so. But you get the gist. Looking back, you will never. Let's speak clearly. There are almost no white people portrayed as villains, and when they are white, they are always large. I mean, yes. Go back, make your statistics. I made them, and the last white queen that was not large, that was kind of portrayed as a villain, was back in season 8. And I'm missing the name. Half of my brain is still asleep. Thorgy. It was Thorgy. Back in season 8. What was it? 5 years ago? 6 years ago? Something like that. So, our second queen in the top will be a queen of color, not portrayed as a villain. Now, who can it be? Who can it be? Let's put them up there. And what you see under that is my first impression, my gut impression when I watched Meet the Queen. So we have Candy, Lala, Olivia, Simone, and Tamisha. Now, Candy, we will set her aside because Candy is loud. She's a queen of color. And she's a big girl. So if you know the show, you know that she is the perfect villain. She is the perfect villain. We'll talk about Candy later. So let's exclude her for a moment. Let's go to the right, Tamisha. Now, this is of course my personal impression, but she looked so defeated, so sad in a way. I watched her meet a queen and I thought, like, what the hell happened to you? I mean, it looks as if, I don't know, she was mourning in a way. So this is what I thought when I saw her. I don't know if she's the first one to go home, or maybe I have fucked up perceptions. We'll have to see about that. But she really looked defeated. And while a lot of other queens mentioned part of the competition, because you have to understand, they film this Meet the Queens after the season is finished. Okay, so they filmed them. I think they filmed this either when the season was finished or even in November. So one thing that I noticed is that they tend to bring up things as if they are trying to excuse themselves before the show is even started. You know, like trying not to manipulate the narrative, but to at least bring it up and try to justify if they think they did something wrong or they didn't rise to the occasions. And I have some notes for queens that I noticed that did this. And Tamisha didn't even do this. So I don't know how to explain this. Maybe it's her personality. I don't know. But since we're doing prediction, I think I would exclude her as well. So one of the Queen of Color not portrayed as a villain is either Lala, Olivia, or Simone. Now, a case can be made for Olivia because when they did this video, every queen, they basically voted for Miss Congeniality. Let's be blunt. Let's be direct. They basically voted for Miss Congeniality. So this is already tells you something, because if she is really so nice, and we start seeing something with her edit, something that starts sounding like a redemption edit, then we can already exclude her. Because redemption edits never get to the top. They always stop in 5th, maybe 6th place. That's where they belong. If we start seeing another kind of edit, then I would immediately place her in the top before Lala or Simone. But we'll have to see with the edits. We'll have to see when the episodes actually come out. We have to see which kind of confessionals they decide to publish, to include in the show, and then we can get an idea. But for the moment, I will include all 3 of them in the possible prediction for the second usual queen that's always in the top 4. Now, apart from that, I cannot tell anything about the other 2 queens that are left. And why is that? Well, that depends on the season. Every season, I think that they typecast a lot of queens, but then at some point they have to work with what they have. So in general, what you see on screen is the usual edit or kind of queen that they bring to the top. So first is the lovable weirdo. It can be arguably a kind of edit, but it usually isn't. Usually the lovable weirdo gets a kind of underdog edit. Like think for example Jinx Monsoon. She was a lovable weirdo with an underdog / victim kind of edit. Who else was there? Sasha Velour was a lovable weirdo. Evie Oddly, in a way, was portrayed as the lovable weirdo, and Crystal back in season 12. So this is usually a category. Who could fit into this category if they decide to bring it? Well, judging by what I see only 2 queens that I would call weird in a way. One is Tina Burner, and the other one is Utica. Now, the problem with Utica is that I cannot really rely on my spider sense with Utica, because she scared the shit out of me. You have to understand, when I saw Utica the first time, the only thing that I had in mind was Tim Curry as Pennywise the Clown. That's the image that I had, and that's the image that stuck. So I don't know. I have to see the show. But you know, when this image came, let's call it my emotional channels completely closed. I don't know if she did this kind of effect on any of you as well, but she was chilling to me. I don't know why. Well, actually, yes, I do know why, but It's the way she speaks. This laugh. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I mean, no ill thought of her. I don't know her. Maybe she's a lovable person, but I'm just talking by impression. This is the impression that I had. So moving on. Next category, the campy queen, because if there are fashion queens, you always need your campy queen. And when we go to camp, we are left with Tina Burner, again, second nomination, and Rosé, who doesn't really look campy to me, but she said in her Meet the Queens that she was campy. So, I don't know. Next category is the season-long villain, and this is where I wanted to get you, because look at this cast from a story producer's point of view, and you have to understand, Candy is just the perfect villain. She is the perfect villain. She fits every physical parameter, and as we've seen before, if you have this kind of physical parameters, you kind of have like a 90% chance of getting a villain added on this show. But she's also loud, and that is the problem. You cannot come in this kind of show. Everything you say will be used against you, and will be used in service of the kind of edit and storyline that they chose for you. So the only possible way that you can save yourself is by not speaking too much. And if you look, that there was a 10-minute premiere with Candy, and she spoke a ton of stuff in 10 minutes. So based on that, I would put my other ball, let's say it like this, on Candy getting a season-long villain added. This is not like what happened to Brita last season. This is more what happened to Silky back in season 11. And if that is the case, she will come along with the victim of her villainy, which we have no idea who she might be if she indeed gets a villain added. So we'll have to see about that. We'll have to adjust while the season goes on. Now, another category is the professional queen. It's basically a kind of bland queen, not bland the personality, bland the way the character is portrayed on television. That is there just because she is professional. She does everything she does it pretty good, but she never speaks too much to actually be controversial, and she doesn't really open up enough to establish a very good emotional connection with the audience. Think about Chad Michaels. She is the prototype of the professional queen. And finally, the last category is the filler queen. The filler queen or a new prototype, because let's not forget, the show changes over time. But since it is a business after all, you don't want to change the things that works. You want to change the things that actually do not work, and you want to make these changes as little as possible, as to not risk to lose the entire show just because you made changes. Let's not forget what happened in season 7. I mean, we look back at season 7 now and think, oh my god, this is entertaining as hell, for all the wrong reason. But when season 7 actually aired, it was completely canned by the fandom. It was saved by a huge influx of new fans, because the old ones were like, what the hell is this? What went wrong with this show? So let's keep the door open. Now, which queens did I not talk about? Just so that I can get an idea of not what I think about them, how I feel about them, the kind of impression that I have. Denali is beautiful, but in her Meet the Queen, she mentions the environment, which is a huge mistake. She'd probably go on first because of that, because you do not mention the environment to RuPaul. Then my favorite queen of the whole package, Elliot. Elliot is, she looks so poised, you know, like unconflicted. She doesn't care. I'm doing my thing, you do your thing, and that's really the kind of queens that speak to me. You know, the unbothered ones. They just, I'm here to do my thing. You do your thing. I don't care. Live and let live. So I kind of like Elliot. She's the one that sticked out of the package for me. Who else do we have? Joy J, or Joy J. Joy mentioned in the Meet the Queens that he doesn't wear a wig, and that might be a problem. Now I want you to think back in season 9. If you remember, if you want to rewatch it, the Meet the Queens with Sasha Velour, a bald queen, who never mentioned being bald as a possible problem. So why did he mention that? As I said before, a lot of time they would bring things up as a way to kind of put a dent in the narratives. And I think this is one of those things. Actually, when I hear him say that not wearing a wig might be a problem, the first image that I had in my mind was the kind of elimination that Milk and Max had, if you remember. They told him, can you do beauty makeup? And then she was eliminated. And Max, they asked him to wear not a white wig. And then she was eliminated. And when he said that the wig was a problem, I immediately thought, okay, he's probably going to wear a wig at some point and he will get eliminated. We'll see about that. This is just the thought that I had in the moment. Now, who else do we have? Olivia. My God, Olivia. When I watched Olivia's Meet the Queens, I thought it felt like it felt as if I was on a poker table. She was completely unreadable. I got nothing from Olivia. Absolutely nothing. It really felt like you are at a poker table with someone and you don't know what to do. What do you do? What does this person have in his hand? You don't know. That's the thought that I got with Olivia, because it was completely blank. And the same thing happened with Kimora. The same exact thing. I have no notes on both of them. I got absolutely zero. So we'll see about that. Did I miss anyone else? Let me check in my notes if I had something worth reading. Simone said she knows Gigi, which I don't know if it's a good thing to say after season 12. I don't know about that. Okay, so this is my very uninformed predictions for the show, and we will see how they play out. We'll have to see how they play out. One thing I can tell you for certain. You don't pass on the opportunity to look like a good, inclusive show who respects trans queens after the PR catastrophe that was Gigi Good last year. At this point, well, in 3 days we can say last season. You don't pass on that. If you ask me, she was cast exactly for that purpose. I have no doubt about it. I have zero doubt about it. Because think about it. I mean, when you have competitions like Dragula, for example, they bring in drag kings. They bring bio queens. They show, you might not like Dragula. It might not be your cup of tea. But at least they don't give a shit about it. They just say, okay, it's drag. What's drag? It's art. It's art. It belongs to everybody. Who cares where it came from? Who cares who are the ones who represented it the most? if you do it well, then come on the show. Come on the show. And Drag Race has a huge problem with it, because the problem is that RuPaul is old. And when you are that old, it's very difficult to come down from your position. It's always difficult in life. That's something that you will always have to actively work on, to judge what you think as impressions and not as opinions, so that you can change them the moment you start getting more information, the moment you educate yourself a little bit more. And if you forget to remind you all of this, it becomes always more difficult. And when you get old, it's even more difficult. So when I talked about the podcast, joking, mocking the trans community, reclaiming a word that was used to diminish them, and they joked about it, and then she projected on them. That's, do we have to talk about RuPaul's discography? Because I can think of at least 3 songs in which she kind of joked about that. I mean, it was different times, I understand that. But image is image, and this is a business. This is a business. For me, it's entertainment, but for them, it's business. So let's not forget about that. Now, let's go through the comments. But first, let's go smoke a cigarette. What do you think? I mean, I have my vaping thing here, but it's not like a cigarette. So let's take a 5. What do you think? Go smoke your cigarette, go to the bathroom, pet your dog, smoke a joint, do whatever you think it's worth doing in 5 minutes. I will leave you with a little bit of music. What do we do? Let's see what we have. Let's shake it up. Okay, guys, see you in 5 minutes.
Shake it up. I don't need you to lie. I don't need you to flatter. And your good intentions, they don't really matter. I don't need you to hold me tight or to make it alright. I just need you to shake it, alright, and shake it all night. Shake it up when things start to settle down. Shake it up like it's a snow globe town. The city's like a bottle of sparkling wine. Before I pull it open, let's take some time. Shake it up. Shake it up. You don't need to be chill. I don't ever play it cool. You don't need the right skills. Don't need the right tools. You just need the guts to seize it. To seize it in the middle. You don't exactly know it, but you know it needs a little breaking up. Shake it up. Shake it up. When things start to settle down. Shake it up like it's a snow globe town. The city's like a bottle of sparkling wine. Before I pull it open, let's take some time. Shake it up.
Okay, we're back. Let's scroll down the comment. Someone asked me if at the very beginning if I watched well, of course I watched it. I said it before. The beginning. So looks like they're doing they are bringing in the idea of having a different kind of premiere. So why is that? Well, a lot of fans have problems with Queens going on the very first episode. You don't even get a chance to get to know them. So what happens is that last season they did the split premiere thing, like they did in season 6. So since they're doing this lip sync thing, I don't think they are going to do like 1,000 lip syncs all together. It will probably be an episode where they do not actually eliminate anyone. And maybe I think there will even be another queen, because they are 13, and if they lip sync 2 by 2, I mean, what do they do? A 3-way lip sync at some point? So I don't know. Maybe there could be one more queen, maybe James Mansfield. You know, I just put it out there. It would be really nice. It would be really nice. Now let's go through the comments very quickly. The older ones and then the more current ones. Syria Jenkins. It took me forever to say this, but my name is pronounced Sir Ayu. Oh my God, I have problems with pronunciation. Surai, is that Surai is fine? So just tell me in the comment. I'm scrolling down. I'm reading it. Well, it is how it is. That's how, when you deal with people from all around the world screwing up names. It's kind of it's inevitable. You cannot do much about it, especially when it comes from me. Lady Baconator, the "I cannot breathe" tweet was so cringy back with Gigi. Yeah, it was. They are so young. Gigi is so young. Gigi was so young when she came into the show. She was thrown into that with all that baggage of the edit that she got. She kind of lost it a little bit. I felt sorry for her in a way. I felt sorry for her. But you know, what can you do? I mean, you sign for the game. You have to be ready for the game. Otherwise, you better not audition. Kylie Wilson, part of me is scared that World of Wonder wouldn't actually go through with crowning a female-to-male queen, but I hope I'm wrong. Well, you have to understand, it's not only about World of Wonder. World of Wonder produces a show for a network. And when you produce a show for a network, the network usually have, it depends which kind of relationship you have with the network, but they usually have a word. For sure. On some things, they can even veto them, especially if the show is being, for example, offensive toward towards some networks' policies, for example. But they have a saying in it. There is no doubt about it. That's just how the business works. So if the parent networks says we have an image problem and we need to fix it, they need to fix it, no matter what. Because let's not forget that Drag Race is $1 billion brand. When you account in for the show itself, when you account for all the spin-off, who of course pay a fee to be part of the brand, when you account for DragCon, merchandise, probably all the money that they get for the queens while they are signed under contract, because I shit you not, there will be a clause in there that will probably says that they have to give a percentage of their earnings. This is my best assumption, of course. I'm not saying there is, because I don't have a contract for this season, but it's a huge brand, and if you have a problem of image, you fix it. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore. You need to fix it because you live with your face when you are in the entertainment industry. Mystique T says, wow, what the fuck, RuPaul? Yes. Yes. You're in for a treat. I mean, when Courtney said, I have respect for the image of RuPaul, not for RuPaul the person, we had to listen. I didn't listen, but we should have listened, because there is a ton of shit behind RuPaul. I mean, I don't think I've ever not the word I'm thinking on is met, but I never met RuPaul. I don't know, deal with or followed so much a person who's so in love with money. Do you know that according to a publication online, a wealthy a net worth publication, RuPaul is worth $60 million. Talking about fracking. Surai, don't forget the former name of Ru's messages to the queens. Oh, yes. You got mail. Yes, let's not forget about it. I mean, you have to understand one thing. One thing. From a naive perspective, for me, it made me laugh at the time. But then you also have to understand, when you have people coming forward who are also part of your community that tell you, listen, this thing makes me feel like shit. Please don't use it. It's at the end of the day, it's just a word. Okay? There are a ton of things you can make fun of. Get over it. Trash it away. There is no shame in finding something funny if you didn't know that it caused this kind of issues. The important thing is that you show goodwill, That's the important thing. And Ru and Michelle were very pissed about it. They were very pissed about it. I don't know if I can track down that specific podcast, but if I have it, I will play it. That is for sure. I will not miss the opportunity. You can bet on that. Fantasia, I agree that Gottmik is going far. Sineka, I agree. My God, names. Welcome, by the way. Welcome. Sorry for butchering your name. Corinne, so they've now started the hero headed from the marketing videos before the show even drops? That's something. That probably happened before, but we never noticed. That's the sad part. I mean, that's the sad part. I've started watching everything related to this show under a magnifying lens since we're doing the job. I did it before. I kept an eye on it, but not so deep, not so focused, if you know what I mean. But I'm sure that if I start looking back, they did before as well. Lady Baconator, Gottmik is a PR dream for this show. Gottmik is a safe bet for the top 3. Yes, and as I said before, from the point of view of RuPaul, she's the best trans contestant that they can have. I mean, in a way, it's a good thing. Maybe we will finally get to see Sonique on All Stars. Sonique or even Peppermint. But, Peppermint is too outspoken, so you never know about that. Carla, welcome. Fantasia, well, I would say Simone and Gottmik. Corinne, I think Simone for the not villain attitude. Simone had this kind of, how can I say, I think she said she was shy and then she was not shy at all. So she looks a little bit, I don't know, smirky. Like she has something, she has something that she's not telling us. I would like to know what it is. She looks like she looks like a kid who knows something and can't wait to tell you, but is not telling you yet. That's how she looks to me. Let's go on. Lady Baconator, Viacom cares a lot about its image as a business. Oh, you can bet on that. My God, you remember all that campaign? My God, Alone Together and all this They had advertisement about it. They were, my God, and Viacom needs it. Viacom needs it. Since the parent company CBS merged with Paramount, they are completely fucked. I mean, the CBS All Access is not bringing in any money. Nobody subscribes to it, of course, because it's shitty. Why would you subscribe to that? And they are not doing that well financially, so they need to keep up with the image. They need to keep up with the image. Kylie Wilson, I never considered Thorgy to have a villain edit, but she definitely got the sore loser edit. Yes, and that's the best kind of white, thin villain I can think of. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. Corinne Mercury, Candy is giving me Vanjie vibes. Just because she's really loud. Just because she's really loud. Lady Baconator says, seems like Tamisha or Candy will get a villain edit. That thought crossed my mind as well. Maybe the way that Tamisha looked to me was because she maybe got triggered during the show. This could be. She knows that she got triggered and she lost it, and she might be ashamed of it. That could be one of the reasons. Yes, I can see that happening. I can absolutely see that happening. Well, we will probably see if that is the case. She will definitely have some kind of interesting edit when she comes to the show. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Corinne Mercury, I think Tamisha might get the villain edit due to her age. Oh yes. Oh yes. I like how you guys are starting to get on kind of my wavelength for this thing. Because that is true. There's a lot of ageism going with the show. Because you know, ageism is mainstream and the show is mainstream. So, you know, a little bit here and a little bit there, you get to appeal to everyone. My God. When did I become like this? Sorry. I didn't smoke enough. Kylie Wilson. Yeah, Tamisha seems like she's got the old bitter pageant queen edit. She a pageant queen? Did she say it? Do I have it in my notes? No, in my notes I have she knows Lala. That's what she said. So I don't know about that. Fantasia, Tamisha is a cancer survivor, so that's probably a part of her story. Shit. Well, they will never put a villain edit on a cancer survivor. That is for sure. Nobody would buy it. Nobody would want to buy it. That would be a PR nightmare. So if that is true, we can already exclude the possibility that she gets a villain edit. Because you don't do that. That's media suicide. That's simply media suicide. When you can play that card to sensitize the audience and make them empathize with the queen and, you know, by the transitive property to the show, you don't pass on the opportunity. You never pass on that kind of opportunity. I mean, do you remember what happened with oh God, when it gets to this time of the day, I forget names. Damn. I should keep a list. This is so unprofessional. But then again, I mean, you know. Blair, do you remember what happened with Blair? Oh, why do you dress so cute, Blair? Why do you dress so cute? Yeah, because I was kind of, well, I cannot use that word, but you know what I mean. They don't pass on those kind of opportunities. Not on VH1. On Logo, maybe. VH1, no. Utica is lovable weirdo by public vote. I agree with that. I mean, on the weirdo part. Lovable, it's still a work in development. Let's move on. What do we have? Sineka says, yes, Candy shading Aja. Shady. I was reading a post on Reddit about that exact thing. And a ton of people were arguing that it's all a publicity stunt. Which you have to understand, in this day and age, it's pretty common to do things like this. A lot of queens produce themselves before, during, and after the show because they learn the game. They learn to play the game. So that could be. I could see that happening. I could see that happening for sure. That's a way to remain relevant. I mean, okay, no, I'm not saying that. Mystic, I don't think like how she shades Aja. Oh my god, sorry, I'm stroking. Mystic said, yeah, I didn't like how she shaded Aja. Well, it didn't seem that bad to me. It looked more like she was saying, well, you know, I don't know. It looked kind of cool to me. I don't know. Diogo says, filler queen. Well, Joy already says herself, if Pendulacram can eliminate herself, she can filler herself. Oh shit, I missed that. Damn. Syria. No, Syria, not Syria. Surai, if that's correct. When she said the former house of Aja and talked about how Aja was jealous of her, oh, I removed that part. Maybe I was too tired when I watched that. I don't know. It's been a terrible week. You would think that Christmas was a nice time, and no. It was terrible. Melanie says, whoa, never got a notification for this. Thanks, YouTube. Yes, thank you, YouTube, for sending notifications to our subscribers. That's incredible. Maybe next time you will be lucky enough that they actually suggest the video. We'll see about that. Kali, yeah, it reads more as, I have good connections with Drag Race alum. Oh, she was referring to a comment of a queen knowing Gigi. That's not a good thing to say on this show. Like being pro-environment. That's not a good thing to say. You should not say that. You want to survive the season, you don't say things like that. Syria. My God, I will always say Syria. Forgive me, but I cannot help it. I just cannot help it. Says, I think Joy mentioned it because queens who have a bit of a masculine side to the drag that get critiqued heavily by the judges. Well, that depends. I mean, do you remember Violet? Yeah, she got critiqued a little bit because she always served this unpadded body, but, you know, at the end of the day, she won. So they might bitch about it, but, you know, everything is in service of the narrative. We all have opinion of a ton of different things, but what wins at the end is the narrative. These queens don't fight for a title. They don't fight for money. They fight against the edit for a good storyline. That's a pretty neat way to say it. Star X-Rays says, yes, T-Chaser and Responsi T are the songs coming through my mind right now. Yes, there's another one. This groove is for my girls. They did the lip sync in season 5. And do you remember they had it was like a mini challenge. It was a mini challenge in season 5. And they also sang that song in season 2. You know, they did the rock version of it with all the queens singing it. My God. My God. Fantasia, I don't think Tamisha's gonna last that long. Me neither. She really looked with a low morale. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe she didn't feel well. That could be as well. But Seneca says it will be either Candy or Tamisha to have the villain edit. I think maybe both. Candy, you know, we have to see the show. This is for sure. We have to at least see a couple of episodes to really get a good idea of who are the actual candidates for a villain edit. But right out of the bat, all my money is on Candy. She's the perfect villain. I mean, the mere fact that you talk too much, that already sets you up for failure, because you know, there's only a limited amount of people competing, and if there is one that talks too much, all the other ones will stay silent. Say, okay, if you're going to throw yourself under the bus, then that's your thing. I will just stay here and watch. Only based on that. Sergio says, Denali is my favorite, and Candy is my second favorite. I love her lip sync. It was so funny. I don't know. They both looked kind of low energy. Can I say it? Kind of. Maybe I don't remember. Maybe I don't remember correctly. I wasn't really awake when I watched that, but the impression that I was left with was maybe a little bit more energy. But you could also say this. Maybe they are saving the best for later. Maybe they think, okay, since they're doing this, let me... I don't know. You never know. You never know. Lisbeth, go have your cigarette, bitch. Because it's gone. Mystique, Denali is giving me lemon vibes. I don't know why. Well, every queen reminds you of some other queens. That's something, it's just part of watching the show. You know, it's just that your mind does that. Even if you try not to do it. For example, when I saw Denali, I thought about Valentina. That's the first thing, you know, and that can interfere with actually creating not a good image, but a representative impression. Does that work? Of the queens that you have in front, because if you're thinking of somebody else, you start projecting all of these things that belong to somebody else. And that's not really what you want to do if you want to get to know someone. Velho says, have you all seen the first act of episode 1? I don't want to spoil anything, but if the gag is going to go down literally as said, then it really is a gag. Yeah, we don't do spoilers in here, but if something aired, it aired. That's the rule of it. For the season, I will keep the streams on Sunday night, which is convenient because it's 2 days after the show, but it also gives me time to actually work on the stream. So there won't be any real possibility of spoiling anything. I will have to remind myself not to make any kind of posts, whatever happens in the community line until Sunday, because last season when Jada won, I immediately wrote a congratulation post for all three of them, and people got furious. It was like 5 a.m. I stayed up just to watch the finale. I was completely fucked up. I wasn't thinking, and people insulted me. They say, you asshole, you spoiled me, and they were right. So I have a policy in place now that until Sunday I do not touch anything. I don't read comments, I don't respond to comments, I don't do anything. And let's hope that it pays off. Fantasia is, if Candy stays long enough, she will definitely have the villain spot. I mean, look at her meet the Queen and interview questions. She didn't know anybody's name. That's something that I noticed as well, but but the idea that I had from it was that she was trying to be shady to everybody else. I didn't get the impression that she didn't know the other queen's name. More that she was like, like, ooh, like RuPaul when they talked to her about queens. Ooh, Syria. I think Candy will get the long-term season-long villain edit, and Tamisha will be a secondary one. Yeah, I completely agree with Candy. I said it before. I will continue to say it. Oh, you never know. Maybe we watch the first episode, the second episode, and the edit suggests something completely different. It could be. I mean, these predictions are not really predictions. They are more impression based on the track record of the show. So we'll actually have to see when we actually have material to discuss. Seneca says, right now I like Denali and Gottmik as my favorites. Yeah, they look nice. I like Denali as well. Gottmik, she seems kind of cold. I got this impression from her. But we'll see how they decide to portray her on the show. Now, speaking of Gottmik, I know we're talking about a trans man, and but she is a drag queen, like any other drag queen. And from years and years that I've been doing this channel, and since I've been doing the live streams, and in my common language, I always refer to drag queens as she, and to drag queens as him. So we'll do the same with Gottmik, because she's no different than anybody else, regardless of her personal past. Kylie Wilson, my 3 early faves are Utica, Gottmik, and Simone. Fantasia, in the Discord, I place my Fantasy League picks. Oh, yes, we have a Discord. There's a link in the description. This time I remember to put it there. I put it in the permanent, how are they called? Permanent descriptions? Well, it pops out automatically. So it will always be there, so that I don't have to remember every time, otherwise you will always forget. Let's go. Velo, I pretty much love all the queens. Can't wait to see how the season shakes down. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Especially, did you notice that they put the separators for the judges to comply with the COOF rules? I cannot say the name of it. Not here on YouTube. I found that pretty funny. I mean, it's a good thing. It's a very good example to give. But yes, we'll see about that. I think it's going to be interesting from many point of view. One is the distancing. The other one is the kind of queens that are there, and I want to see how they recover from Season 12 and All Stars 5. I mean, All Stars 5 was still good, but Season 12, all in all, it was really a catastrophe. It was really a catastrophe. I mean, it started with the whole Sherry Pie thing, which was terrible because every day there would be something new. First she didn't know, then she did know, then thing happened until August, then they continued happened until January, then more people came forward. It went on for weeks. It seemed like you couldn't Google anything Drag Race without having a new thing coming out about her. It was a constant thing. And then the editing was terrible. The editing was terrible. If you go on Wikipedia and you type in the hero's journey in literature, you will find out that it's a kind of archetype that has a very precise and in a way complex storyline. It can be very complex, but at least it's a journey. You know, there is a villain to fight, there is difficulties to overcome. That's a journey. Gigi was portrayed as a Mary Sue. She can do no wrong at all. It was a terrible edit, which reflected on the person. A lot of people took it on her without thinking before. Wait a minute. That's the edit. That's the edit. Of course, it's based on the person, but it's still the edit. So don't take it on the person. Then she made a fool of herself on social media, so you can imagine what happened afterwards. But still, there's a connection to the show. They have big shoes to fill. You know, they have to really do a good job on this season. And we'll see if they do it. We'll see. I don't think they will, honestly. I don't think they will. I don't think they have the producing talent to do so. And I'll be honest about that, because it takes a lot of talent to watch what happens to 13 people during the month of filming, and then working with what you have and actually craft a storyline that is not only entertaining to watch, but it's also really close to the actual experiences that these people are having. It's a really difficult job to do. You have to have a lot of talent, and you have to have a lot of people with a lot of talent. And what they did in season 12 was really was sloppy. It was sloppy. It was not. It was very poor in quality. And this is something that I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. I mean, the show has never had as many financial resources as today. So how do you justify that? I mean, I can understand season 7. You know, they were still on logo. They had season 6 before. They were trying to change things up. The money was what it was. I can understand it for season 7. But at this point, no. No. You have the money. Invest the money. Fantasia says, Gottmik, Simone, Candy, and Denali are my picks of who they will make to the top. Oh shit, the chat went. Okay, I lost the chat. Great. Oh god, I hate YouTube chat. Where are we? Oh, there we are. Sineka says, if we're thinking Candy and Tamisha are going to be villains, who would be the victim? That's a good question. That's a good question. I have no idea. I think it could be, it depends on the circumstances. So it's something that we cannot really predict. Because think about it. If you are a producer and you manage to trigger a queen enough so that she lashes onto someone else, that someone else is usually the first person that happens to be in the most inconvenient place. So it's kind of difficult to predict. I have no idea. I'll be honest, I have no idea and no lead. Mystique, imagine the gag if there's Dahlia as the 14th queen. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dahlia was such a lost opportunity. I mean, now that you have all seen how messy she's on social media, she would have, you didn't need a storyline with Dahlia Sin. Just leave her there. Let her do her thing. It will be entertaining. It's like in All Stars when they eliminated Derek Barry in the first episode. Come on. Come on. Melanie said, you just know that they're going to have Tamisha and Lala lip sync against each others. Are they friends? Let me check my notes. Oh, yes. Tamisha said that she knows Lala. Yes. Oh, that's typical. That's typical. You would hope that at some point they would get over it, but no. That's as typical as the redemption edit never getting to the top 4. That's how typical it is. Sir, but it's okay. Sir, are you? I cannot. Forgive me on that. I will go with Syria. But we both know that that's not how you pronounce it. Velho says, Candy survives her lip sync and has to lip sync against Dahlia Sin for a spot on season 13. Jack, welcome back. Returning Hurley, eliminated season 12 queen, Sakura would fit perfectly, like how Cynthia returned to season 9 from season 8. That would be really interesting. I'm still rooting for James Mansfield. I've seen a ton of her videos on YouTube, and she is really something. It's too bad we never got to experience that. So I don't know. Maybe James Mansfield as the secret queen. We'll see. Chi-Chi's. If you didn't know, Venus Delight told me that RuPaul was doing the lights for her show way back then. There's that tea. Oh my god. Come on. Is it real? You have receipts for that? You have links? Feel free to post it. I will see it. Sineka, you're fine. People butch my names all the time. I butch everyone's name. Nobody is safe. You can just call me Sen. I will call you Sen. Diogo, I mean, just because of the fracking, Peppermint is bigger than the reality show. I love that bit. So much. It was incredible. And Lee Dawson, the guy who did the recaps, the first ones, the very first ones, he made such a good video. About it. Go to his channel and check it out if you don't know it. Go to the channel and check it out. It's based on that video. It's so good. Sen says, oh, the fracking. Well, oh, no, not that. Melanie. But is it fashion? That's a good question. That depends. If she wears it well, it could be fashion. Beatrice says, I think Sonique confirmed for All-Star 6. Hope you don't consider it a spoiler. Well, that depends. If Sonique went out on social media and said, I will be on All-Star 6, that is something. If it's a rumor or a spoiler or other things, we take it out. We don't do that in here. We do speculations. That we do a ton of it. But if you have like inside sources or things like that, then no. But since you said it and I read it, well, it would be really nice. I like Sonique. She's a beautiful woman and she's a beautiful queen. Kelly Wilson. So Candy Villain Edit confirmed? Well, confirmed it's hard to say, but yes, I would put all my money on it. Diogo, Tamisha is the pageant queen. There is videos from her winning pageants in 1996. Damn, is it on VHS? She's that, how old is she? Let me check. 43. She's 43. Well, in drag years, that's like grandma level. Well, I prefer more mature queens. They know how to behave themselves. Let's say it like this. Usually. Tony Truss says, hello everyone. Welcome. Wait a moment, I need to drink something. I'm starting to lose my voice. Hello and welcome. You're a little bit late, but it's okay. We're doing comments and whatever the hell comes out of my mouth, we'll see. Syria says, Lala is Tamisha's drag daughter. Is she? That's a new thing for the show. That's a new thing. They never had a whole family in the same season. So yeah, if she is also a drag daughter, then they're going neck and neck. I mean, what a missed opportunity if they didn't do that. Lady Baconator says, Viacom would bring the hammer down hard if the show even tries to vilify a cancer survivor. Yes, I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that. If they let her say it, but then again, even if they tried to not let her say it, she can say it outside of the show. That's not something that's in the contract, you know. I mean, unless they went completely batshit crazy with the new contract. But I mean, we know. I mean, she said it before. Everybody knows. How can you not know? And the last thing that this show is, you know, getting back to the same situation that happened with Sherry Pie. They didn't do their job, they didn't do their research, but people knew, and then when it was too late, people spoke. So you don't want to put yourself in the same situation again. So yes, I agree. I would take the villain edit out of the possibilities for Tamisha. Valho said, plot twist. Olivia Lux was the nastiest villain ever, but decided to troll us by being the sweetest sweetheart on Meet the Queens. That could be interesting. But they had to all agree on that. You know, they had to go on video and say, oh yeah, she's so nice. It could be. Diogo says, Aja is saying on Twitter, I'm a bad bitch, but I'm sensitive. After Candy Shade is iconic. That depends which kind of sensitive she is, you know? She could be sensitive to the fact that she is sensitive, or something like that. Kylie, women have all sorts of shapes and sizes, so it rubs me the wrong way when they critique queens for not padding enough. Well, you have to understand, that comes from this idea that a drag queen has to look like a woman, or at least a caricature of a woman. And that might still be true, but, you know, art evolves, and it evolves quickly, especially in the world of today, when we are constantly interconnected, constantly able to express ourselves. It's a constant thing. If you think about Drag Race 10 years ago, you wouldn't recognize it anymore. At all. So I completely agree with you, but 10 years ago I wouldn't have, because I was in that mindset as well. Sarah Jenkins, are you referring to the lady song? Yes, exactly that song. Lisbeth, have you considered reacting to the episode in live, like in Twitch, where the copyright stuff is kind of loose, but I think we'd get worried about your sleep time then? Yes, that is one of the problems, is that the show, when I watch the show from here, I think it starts like at 3 in the morning. That is the time, and there is so much commercial that it basically ends 1 hour and a half later. It's amazing the amount of commercial that's in there. It's basically 5 minutes of show, 3 minutes of commercial. It's unbearable. And I'm not a reactive person. I don't know if I get the idea. When I watch the show, it's complete silence. It's concentration. Try to catch everything. So you don't. I'm so concentrated, especially if I'm watching, because I need to take notes, that it wouldn't be entertaining. It would not be entertaining at all. I can assure you that it would be so boring. You would basically not hear anything. Syria, yes, that's the other song I was thinking that I was referring to. Yes, it's Lady B. Sorry, the chat skipped again. Oh, here we go. Diogo, I think Gottmik is gonna have a lot of shady confessionals. She's look like she's gonna win the reading challenge with eyes and mouth closed. Do you think so? I mean, maybe she is, but if she is, and they are doing the marketing thing, that it will be so interesting to watch the edit. It will be so interesting. Well, Gottmik to me looks like she doesn't give a shit. You know, she looks like a person who went through personal hell and said, well, I survived that, I can survive everything else. I don't give a shit. That's the impression that I had. But then again, we're talking for impressions. Sasha, Mick said that is pronounced in drag is she, her. So yeah, it's fine to do it. Oh, perfect. Good. Then it's settled. Kylie, I feel like production unintentionally screwed over their chosen one. If you're talking on season 2, yes. I mean, we can discuss about it how much you want. Season 12, sorry. But I mean, it was so clear. They chose their winner before episode 1 even aired. It was so clear. I dropped my electronic cigarette. That's great. Tonitrus. Do you think they're going to make this season extremely short? Or make no group challenges? Well, if anything, the show is getting longer in time. There was notably season 3, which was the longest one. It had like 16 episodes or something like that. No, I think they found a format. How much is it? 11, 12 episodes? Maybe 13? No, I think 13. We had 13 for season 12. No, I don't think they will make it. They will make it shorter. But don't forget, we used to have episodes of 45 minutes. Now we have episodes that last 1 hour. So if anything, they're going to make it longer. The brand is also expanding. You know, with all this drag race, Spain, UK, Canada, Holland. There's so much drag race out there that if anything, they're going to make it longer. Cut it? No, I don't think so. And if they start cutting the show, that we get less episodes or the episode starts getting shorter, then we should start to worry. We should really start to worry if something like that happens. Group challenges, of course, they have to have group challenges. They have to have it. That's an integral part of the show. You cannot have Drag Race without group challenges. Incredibly, we had Drag Race last year without the library. So, you never know. We'll have to wait and see. Velho, what I think is that this is going to be kind of like a RuPaulapalooza in All Stars 4, where in the end, nothing unexpected really happened, even though there was a huge hype. So a lot of double shantays. I don't see how they can eliminate 6 queens in the first episode. Let's be realistic. It's not going to happen. You cannot chop down half of your cast in the first episode. And then if you do, you have to bring them back. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. What I think will happen is that either it will be a whole episode of lip syncs, like they do 6 lip sync, 7 if there is an additional queen, Everyone lasts for 5 minutes, so 35 minutes. And then the 7 bottoms do it again in group of 1, 2, and 3 groups, and then do it again. No, we would go over time. Maybe they will vote, you know. They do all the 6, 7 lip syncs, and then the top one vote the bottom, the queens who lost for the bottom 2, and then they lip sync. I don't know. Sometimes, you know, they make things so complicated without no real consequences, only for shock value. And this goes back to when I told you that it looks like there is no talent producing this show anymore, because the last thing that you want to do is to really hype your fandom so much and then give them no actual reward after it, because you feel frustrated. And this is something that, you know, like you said, like in All Stars 4, they did the same thing. This is something that really frustrates the audiences. They shouldn't do it. It feels like a clickbait video. You click and expecting to see something, and then it's not there. Then you do it again and it happens again. At some point you start seeing videos with titles like "You'll never believe what," and you simply ignore them. That's the long-term effect that you have. Sineka confirms that Lala and Tamisha are drag daughter and drag mother. Okay, so basically we put it down as a possible lip sync. Kylie Wilson says, will you also be discussing Drag Race UK when it starts? It starts January 14th. No, absolutely not. I don't know if I will even have time to see it, actually. Because you have to understand one thing. When the episode airs at Friday night or Saturday morning, my time. So when I wake up, I have to get the episode. Only to do the confessional chart, it takes about twice the length of the episode itself. So, for example, for season 12 and All Stars, it was like 2 hours, 2 hours and a half, maybe even 3 hours. Because while I do the confessional chart, I also take notes on all things that might be interesting. Like, for example, when they edit a queen to bitch face someone, or when they create a sentence that it's not even there. And that is my first watching. Well, when I'm really analyzing it, I'm not really watching it. And then after I've done that, I watch the episode and enjoy it. And that's where I get my emotional impression of the episode. Then after all of that is done, then I need to prepare the stream. So I need to actually prepare all the pictures that I need to edit all the pieces of videos that I need, and then I need to make not really a script, but at least a list of things that I want to follow in a manner that doesn't feel really confusing during the live stream, you know. And that really absorbs in total a good 10 to maybe even 15 hours. Like if I notice something that would be really fun to edit something around it, then I will lose 2 hours just doing that. So I don't really have time. It's impossible. It's impossible. I mean, doing the live streams the way I want to do them, with the kind of materials that I want to show, because it's stupid just saying, oh, in this part of the show this and this happens. It makes no sense. I need to show it, you know, even with a screenshot, even with a small clip. But if I want to make a point, I need to show it. And if I want to show it, it means that I have to work. So there's really no time to do that. Beverly Steer, so happy the Chop is back. I love the channel. Thank you. Thank you. I like the live streams as well. They are kind of like chocolate. It's hard work to prepare a proper stream, but then it's instant gratification. Because like immediately after we come live, we have our talk, we vent, especially we vent. So it's nice. It's nice for me as well. It's a little bit stressful because it goes on every weekend for like 3 months. And then if All Stars comes around, there is not even a pause in between. So like this year was crazy. We started like in March, we finished in July. So it's kind of crazy, but you know, it's that good kind of crazy. Sineka says, I'm excited that I'm actually able to participate this time. Don't worry. Don't worry. If you missed the last ones, we have them saved in the homepage of the channel. Oh, that reminds me. If you miss a stream and you want to rewatch it, it will be you will not find it as a video on the channel. What you need to do is to go to the main page of the channel. If you scroll down, you see a section called live streams, and there's the playlist for all the different live streams. Also this year, for this season, what I want to do is to actually put on even more work and actually release an episode as a video. So what I will probably do is to take the live stream, chop it down, add more things if I think I can add more things, either because I didn't really have time for the live stream, so because it's something new that I noticed, and then package the chop as a small 10-15 minutes episode. We'll see. I tried last year and I couldn't keep it up because I kept getting more ideas, and I want to talk about this and I want to talk about that, and then I tried to make a proper new content for every episode, and that it was too much work. I couldn't keep it up. So I will try it. I will try this year and see what comes. Corinne, what do you think of the RPDR drama subreddit? That's a good question. That's a good question. I think, I mean, it's a place where they discuss drama. I read from that subreddit, mostly because the comments are really funny, but you know, Reddit is this kind of place where it kind of sits in between, where it really depends which kind of moderators you have there, and you will find different climates. For example, in all of these subreddits, it's not just drama, it's the main subreddit, for example. You have the same problem there as well, where if you are saying something that's inconvenient to the kind of moderators that you have, you will not be able to speak. Your posts will be removed, whatever you say will be downvoted. I used to participate in the main subreddit years ago, during season 6, season 7, and part of season 8. Then I simply stopped because the censoring really went out of control. It really went out of control, especially on the main subreddit, where it's basically there for publicity for the show. You cannot really bring something up unless 10,000 viewers start to bring the same post over and over and over again. At some point, they will just live it up. The least controversial version of the topic, they will keep it up just for, you know, maintaining this kind of image that they are impartial. But I mean, my personal opinion is that no fan owns the main subreddit for RuPaul's Drag Race. That's under World of Wonder control. There was in the very beginning, I knew who the creator was. His name was Bruce, and then he signed a contract during DragCon. I don't remember if it was with World of Wonder or an affiliate of World of Wonder. But he signed a contract with a non-disclosure agreement, and 6 months later, he was not the main moderator of the subreddit anymore. And new moderators emerged, people that at the times I have never seen. I mean, there were times like during season 7 where I was in there every day. So, and the subreddit was really small. So you start knowing who people are, you comment, you actually talk to other people, and these people, who know what these people were? They came out of nowhere. So this is what I think about it. So I do not participate in subreddits anymore, but I occasionally read them. What I found funny is a subreddit called RPDR Cringe, which as their icon is Venus the Light, and so there is like this subculture of Venus the Light, and it's really funny. I find it really funny. It's entertaining in a way, but it's Reddit. People tend to gang on you no matter what. So be cautious, because you will be easily triggered. Sineka says, Tamisha explained that Lala is her daughter in the Meet the videos of how she is happy to be with the journey with her in the Meet the Queens. I'm sorry, I cannot read this. Could be that I'm tired. Tamisha explained that Lala is her daughter in the Meet the Queens video. Did she? Well, then I missed that. Well, it doesn't really matter. As long as we know that, we can use it for our predictions. Syria, still waiting for the Davenport season. Velho says, a new contract. You are not allowed to mention anyone, anything about your life in case we wish to edit it out of your 15 minutes of fame. Well, I was rereading parts of the contract for the intro of the chop. And that this is the whole contract. The new ones is probably being a total different beast. But the old one was like, my God, there were parts like the jargon. It's incredible. It's like they give up everything. They give up their image. They give up whatever they say. They give up whatever they create. They give up the image of their families and friends as well in connection to the show. They also give up the right to complain if the producers push false information about them. There is a clause that specifically says that the producers are allowed to bring in any kind of theme, commentary, information of any kind of sort, true or false, about the contestant, and the contestant accepts that. It weighs away his right to complain about it. It's crazy. These contracts are crazy. I would never sign anything like that ever in my life. I would, if I was a drag queen, I would probably be a bar queen. I would never sign something like that. Never. And then in perpetuity, they have the right to continue to show your image, which means that if you happen to be Fifi O'Hara for the next 30 years, they will always show the same clip of you saying fuck you to everyone. It's I don't even know. In a way, I would like to live in a world in which some things would be rights that you cannot alienate from yourself. Like, for example, personal freedom is a kind of right that you cannot sign out by contract, because by law it's a kind of right that cannot be waived away. And your personal image should be one of these kind of things, because to me it's incredible that people can make up things about you, that you sign a contract and you give away this right so that people can actually make up false information about you, push it as truth, and you cannot do anything about it. This is crazy. This is crazy. And you know, on the other side from the other point of view, one might say, well, but you signed that. And yes, I can agree to a certain extent. Yes, you sign it, but then again, it's a huge platform. Who knows which kind of problems you have? Who knows which kind of life you have? Maybe you don't really have a choice. You need that kind of push, so you sign away these kind of things. So I don't know. I don't know, guys. It's we could debate for hours about it, but that's mainly one of the reasons why we have this kind of show right now. One, it's because I'm kind of compulsive when it comes to edit. I notice everything and I want to share it. And the other is to put, you know, all these people into perspective, because when the fandom decides to go against you, they have absolutely no remorse at all. Syria, I'm ready for the confessional queen. They are usually my favorite queens on the season. The confessionals are the most important part of the season for me. They tell you everything about the editing. They tell you absolutely everything, because everything that a queen says in a confessional, I can guarantee you, is like 80% not what she originally meant when she said it. And you can hear it and you can see it if you know where to look. So for this reason, they are one of the most interesting part of the show to me. It's also the moment where you create the emotional connection. So we will see. Diogo says, I watch every episode of Drag Race when the pirate sites already subtitled the episode and I live. Oh, I can relate to that. I can relate to that. When I started actually watching everything in the original language, in English, in the very, very beginning, I really needed the subtitles. I really needed it. And I used that for a good 2 or 3 years. And after that, when I didn't really, I wanted to watch something. I don't remember what it was. But there were no subtitles. So I thought, okay, well, I'll try to follow without subtitles. And I realized that although I was missing some things, I would still get most of it. And so, you know, I got the motivation to say, well, you know what, I'll try another one. If I'm really missing something, then I will pull up a subtitle. So you can break the addiction to subtitles. You just have to put a little bit effort in it. Fantasia says, I placed Amisha's story in the Discord. And who want to do the Fantasy League with Maya? I will put the info in the Discord. Thank you. Fantasia said, I can't figure how to use Reddit. Well, it works like this. You comment on something, and then people who disagree with you will insult you in very, very clever ways. And that's how you use Reddit. Sineca says, I cannot spell. I'm so sorry. I just typed too fast. Don't worry. Don't worry. You cannot spell. I cannot read. We are basically there. I'm reading a lot of WTFs, but I don't understand what they are referring to because I'm kind of late to the party, like some minutes late to the party. Why don't I have timestamps? Oh, there we go. What was the WTF all about, Kylie? Let's go on. Oh, the contract. Oh, yes. Yes. You know what we should do? One day we should do a stream. Yeah, but that's the problem. When I try to read English, after the first 5 or 4 sentences, I will start stuttering. I will start losing words. I will start that's a problem. We should have a stream, like where we read the contract, and then every time it's mentioned that a queen is waiving a right to something, you have to drink. I can guarantee you, we get to page 4 and we lose the host. I can guarantee you that. Oh my god. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so fucked up. Sineka says, I'm so glad to have found you because I would have never known this at all. Well, sometimes it happens that YouTube actually suggests us. Sometimes it happens. I continue. I go back rewatching Drag Race and see where all of the edits and everything are placed. Velholm, especially nowadays when people will find out your real name and home address after Meet the Queens, it's not just your art that might suffer from villain edits and such. Yes, that's another thing that makes me so angry. It makes me so angry. It takes 5 seconds. 5 seconds at the beginning of the show. They did it for season 12 when they said Sherry Pie was disqualified and they were distancing themselves, saying that she will appear on the show out of respect for the other queens, but it is how it is. And they did it for that. Why can't they do the same thing and say, listen, this is a highly dramatized show, done for entertainment purposes. Please respect the people behind the characters. It would be that much. It doesn't really take that much, And people will feel like idiot when they start tweeting these queens and insulting them, because other people will be like, well, but didn't you read the disclaimer? They say it's dramatized. Calm down. What is it? Can't you read? It would take that much. Instead, you have Michelle Visage, of course, Michelle Visage, who in my imagination, it's a sheep. Went out years ago saying, "Oh, it's all real. It's all real. Everything you say, everything you see is real," which is technically true, but as you know, whenever you have an adjective of something and you put the adjective technically in front of it, then it starts to become kind of fucked up. Because yes, everything in there really happened, but did it happen sequentially the way you're portraying it? Because it's kind of disingenuous to just say, well, everything you see is real. Yes, I'm not doubting that it happened. That's not the point, though. So we'll see. Fantasia says, hopefully the fans will learn better behavior. Yeah, I mean, we all can try a little bit. We all try to, in a way, set an example of it. But you see what the problem is. The problem is at the source. Driving this kind of emotional investment, this kind of bad emotional investment, it makes people tune in. It makes people invested in the show. It makes people interested in the show. Which kind of people? Well, mostly younger generations that don't really have that how can I say, baggage of instruments to see beyond the illusion. That they cannot really defend themselves from this portrayal of quote unquote reality, and the producers know it, the networks knows it, they cater to this kind of reaction from the fans. They will never say it, they will never admit it, but that it's exactly what they want, and that is exactly what they work for. When you go back and look at the edits, the way words were put in people's mouth, the way things were exaggerated in every possible way, by choosing the right camera expression, by choosing the right music to go behind it, by choosing the right sound effect, by choosing the way other people reacted to that, by strategically placing Franken-sentence confessionals in between. Everything that it's done, this form of art, everything points out to the only possible conclusion, that is, you want to do this. And you want to do this for a very practical reason. This is how you invest your target audience. This is how you make your money. So you see what the problem is really here. That I'm totally okay with doing this because it's entertainment. I like it. I like the fake drama. It's nice. I don't like the consequences of it because people cannot really distinguish between entertainment and real life. And the show doesn't really have any interest in making this distinction because it goes against the illusion that what you're seeing is reality. That's why they keep the name reality show. So sorry, I get into these long things, but this is something that really gets me. It's something that really gets me every time. Kylie Wilson, the contract, you get alcohol poisoning, I'd imagine. Yes, in no time. In no time. Sineka, I would watch the stream of you just reading the contract. My God, it feels like, like if you're a Christian and you're reading the Bible, you go through the contract. The contract, which, by the way, and this is the old one. I mean, I cannot imagine what's in the new one. I cannot imagine. But the old one, where is it? It's like 51 pages, 50 of tiny writing, and it's in legalese, so you can imagine. And this is the old one. I have no doubt that the new one goes well over 60, well over 60s. I mean, the new one is on the VH1. They know the fuck they're doing. Fantasia says they bait them to get them to say stuff. Yes, they bait them, they push them, they trigger them. That's, when you hear people saying, yeah, but she said these things, she said them. Yes, but you don't know the context. You don't know the pressure. You don't know, these queens undergo psychological evaluation before going to the show. So they have to submit very precise tests that can be as precise as surgical instruments. So they know how to trigger them. That's how fucked up it is. These tests are so precise that they can tell you which areas you are most uncomfortable with, which areas will elicit a negative response from you. They know all of these things, and I have no doubts that they do all they can to get the reaction that they want. It's a matter of control. It's also due to the fact that there is so much money going into this. There is so much money. When there is so much money at stake, you kind of fall into these things of having as much control as you possibly can. You don't take many risks. You don't even try to go with the flow, like really have 13, 14, 15 people there and mix them up and just see what happens. And then let's tell a story about some of the things that happen. Let's tell a compelling story. You don't take that many risks when there's so much money at stake. So in a way, I understand why they do what they're doing. But it's still a kind of a double-edged blade. It's entertainment, but it's also risky. And RuPaul, I don't know about RuPaul. I mean, I cannot say that I grew up with RuPaul, because I didn't, but I know who she was for as long as I can remember. And I'm not saying she was an idol, but she was like a representation of something different out of what I knew in my real life, an example in a way. And then there's you find out all of these things, and you really go back to what Courtney said: focus on the legend, don't focus on the person. But it is how it is, and at least we have materials, because if you think that the frack jokes are over, they're not over. They will continue and continue and continue until Mama Ru comes out and she tells us why there are fracking rigs on her ranch, and why there was an application for more than 100 new fracking rigs on that ranch waiting for approval. And she tells us why this happens. When she's earning from Drag Race, when she's earning from DragCon, when she's earning from all of this stuff that comes with it, we don't even know. What we know is that the show has her name, and you don't have RuPaul's Drag Race without RuPaul. So if that means that she has a stake on the show, instead of getting paid to do it, she really has a stake on whatever the show earns. That could be even more than we can imagine. Who knows how much they sell the show to VH1 for? But it's VH1. You don't sell it for peanuts. Fantasia says, has anyone watched the show with JBL in Unreal, all about the behind the scene in reality shows? I saw it. I loved it. I mean, it's exaggerated, of course. It's like really exaggerated. But it was so entertaining. It was so entertaining. I loved it. I really, really loved it. It was so good. It was such a middle finger to reality television, because, that series did to reality television the same thing that reality television did to contestants. It exaggerated them, took them to the limit in order to carry out a narrative. And Unreal, the TV show, did the same thing to reality TV. That's why I appreciated it so much on that meta level as well. It's really good. I highly suggest it. It's highly addictive. You will probably binge watch the first season in like a day or two. Good reminder. Fantasia continues. Yeah, it's the same thing I was saying. Of course, it's scripted, hopefully exaggerated way of how they get people to react. Yeah, I completely agree that it's exaggerated. I mean, maybe some of the things, something similar could have happened somewhere. Like, for example, a huge part of I don't want to spoil the show if any of you are going to watch it, but part of the show is contestants that has medical problems. And you have to know that even in the contract with Drag Race, you waive away your doctor-patient confidentiality right. You give it away to the show. So you're not entitled to confidentiality anymore. Do you remember in season 9, when Eureka was eliminated and RuPaul said, "We've been in contact with the doctor." What she really said is that whatever the doctor told to you, told to us as well. Because you have no right of doctor-patient confidentiality. You sign that away. So they know they have to have access to your medical record. So whatever happened to you since you were born, basically, they know. Is something happened to you? Is something bad happened to you? Remember Blair? You know, when things like that happen to you, you undergo a medical visit. That's on the record. Are you starting to get my point? Melanie says Delta Work said on Race Chasers that she said everything she said, but her confessional weren't always shown in the correct order. Yeah, it's absolutely nothing new. I mean, there was a confessional where Shangela changed clothes midway. I mean, it was times when they didn't really have the rule of having the same outfit for every confessional. But you can still spot this kind of things. And this is something that I set out to do for this season. Probably it will be too much work. So maybe I will not be really able to do it. But I will try. And this is to keep track of the way the clothes are ironed in order to create a database of pictures in which I can say, okay, this is confessional of this queen for episode 2. This is for episode 3. This is for episode 4. And then when you reach by episode 5, 6, or 7, you can say, oh, look at this for confessional. This is from episode 2. And this other part is from episode 3. You know, it's just to have fun, you know. Just to have fun. Sineca says, it will never fracking. It will never fracking over. And neither will I ever be fracking over the fracking jokes. I mean, what can you do? What can you do? I mean, I don't want to appear like the crazy environmentalist that keeps a bucket where you shit every time in order to create compost where you grow your food. I don't want to get overboard with it. But you have to understand one thing. Fracking has been scientifically proven to have serious consequences on global warming. Methane in the atmosphere has been proven to be extremely more powerful than CO2 in creating a warming effect. I don't get the word. Oh shit. Let's go to the translator. Greenhouse effect. So, and RuPaul is a millionaire, for God's sake. And not a millionaires with 2 millions. Millionaires with tens of millions. And a villa here, an apartment there, a ranch there. I mean, and a stable income for probably years to come as well. You know, this is it, but it just baffles me. Just baffles me so much. That's why I'm kind of go the joke route, you know? I will keep talking about it because, you know, you cannot just ignore these things. When you are that kind of public figure and you earn that kind of money by being that kind of public figure, you also have a little bit of accountability. You cannot come and say, you know, basically, I frag. And then when people ask you why, you just keep silent. And this is something that you know, RuPaul does. You remember when there was what I call the how can I translate it? The Black Spring of the U.S., you know? This year with the revolts and the riots and the BLM movement and so on, RuPaul didn't say anything. For God's sake, you're a black man. You're a U.S. citizen. You're a public figure. Fucking say something about it. You have people saying something about it who are not even from your own country. Say something, for God's sake. Nothing. Nothing. Zero. Absolutely zero. So we will remind our viewers of that, and possibly in a funny way, you know, because nobody likes to talk about this kind of things in that kind of tone all of the time, because it becomes emotionally draining. But a joke here and there, yes, that's there to stay. Seneca says, I absolutely agree with you, with everything you said about RuPaul and the role RuPaul plays with the fracking situation and him not doing anything. Yeah, I mean, you know, she has that song, Call Me Mother. And at some point she goes with the riff and she said, now they call me mother. She changed it to now they call me hypocrite. Oh, God. Anyway, guys, it's time. It's been nice being back. Kind of a short stream. Consider that we usually go for like hours and hours and hours, but I'm a little bit tired, and we basically ran out of things to talk about for this stream. But I'll see you back on Sunday, and hopefully we'll have a lot more material and make a better predictions, and also trying to understand which kind of storylines these poor souls will have on the show. So thank you for tuning in. As usual, you will find the live streams in the home page of the channel, in the live stream playlists, and I'll see you back on Sunday. Please remember to share our videos if you can, if you will. Nice to see you guys. Have a good night. See you soon.